Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Erica, or RikkiMikkiPlans if you're on Instagram, and I'm showing my face today. It's a little awkward for me, but we're gonna go for it. And the reason I'm doing this is I have a little longer intro than usual. I thought it'd be a little more interesting than watching my hands underneath the camera, and so here you go. So what I'm doing today is I am doing a video that many people have asked me for, and I am going to show you how to make your own inserts for your planner. So if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that for a long time, years actually, I've been using a classic size, vertically aligned happy planner. And it's been working great for me. It's been fine. But then life changed and I became an empty nester. My son left for college a few years ago. He was back for a bit because of the pandemic, but he's gone again. And then my daughter back in August left for college herself. And so my husband and I have become empty nesters. And so I don't need a full page for activities and appointments anymore because I don't have 4 of us to keep track of. I just have 2 of us. I still write down a few things for my kids, but for the most part, not nearly as much. And it wasn't working for me. It wasn't making me happy. I was still using my planner, but it made me so unhappy that I stopped making videos and everything. And then one morning I just woke up, like seriously, just woke up and thought, I'm going to make my own inserts. I'm going to make this planner work. I'm going to make my planner piece again. And so I decided to make my own inserts, and it's actually not that hard to do. It took a little fiddling, a little working with it, but then I got it and it's fine. And so I'm going to show you, I'm going to jump onto my computer and I'm going to show you how I make my own inserts for that. So, yeah, the inserts I make, I put all of my activities and appointment on one side of my planner spread, and I put my to-do list on the other side. So when it's open on my desk, I see both of those. And if you hear that sound, my daughter is getting home. It's spring break right now and she's getting home from work and the garage door is opening underneath me. So sorry about that sound, but hey, real life, right? It's real life. I could refilm, but I'm not gonna. It's real life. So anyway, so I'm gonna hop off of here. I'm gonna hop onto my computer and I'm gonna show you how to do this. And yeah, I mean, people have asked me, will you sell me these? And I'm like, no, I just don't have time in my life right now to start a business and be an entrepreneur, but I'm glad to tell you how I did it, because it's really honestly, now my daughter's honking at me. It's really honestly not that difficult. So yeah, here we go. All right, so first things first, this is just an old, I don't even remember, this is from 2021, it says. Old planner that I never finished out. And I want to show you what the first step is. The first step is to measure out what we've got here. Pardon me. Just had a milkshake and it always gets me kind of like, got to clear my throat a lot. So the first thing we need to know is the length of, or the size of, and I'm grabbing me a Post-it note and I'm grabbing me something to write with. All right, the size of the page. So for the page itself, okay, it is 9 1/4 tall by 7 inches wide. So that's important there. First measurement. Second measurement is the size of these boxes if you want what you design to kind of mimic this, even if it's not exact. So the size of one box is, and this is box, okay, is 1.5 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall. So those are the 2 measurements I'm going to start with. And actually, they're the only ones I really need from this paper. So now I'm going to head over to my computer and these measurements will come into play. Okay, so it's been a while since I've done this, but let's see what I can do here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to open up Publisher. I could do this on Word, but I'm going to do it on Publisher. I'm going to hide my little thing here. Sorry, that's where I'm actually making my recording here. I'm then going to make a new document, and I want it to be portrait, not landscape. So I'm going to click that. And then before I do anything else at all, I'm going to set my page up. So I'm going to go up here to page design. Now, if you have an older version of this, some of this stuff might be in a different place, but it should still work essentially the same. So I go to page design, and next I'm going to go to size. I need to change the size of this page, which is 8.5 by 11, to match the size of the classic size Happy Planner, which is what I use. So I'm going to jump down past all of these preset sizes, and I'm going to go to page setup. Now, here is your paper size. That is going to stay 8.5 by 11 because that is what's going through the printer. That's the size of the paper that's just regular old paper, right? Regular old copy paper. However, here is where I'm going to change the size of the page, which is not the paper, it's the page. It's what I'm working on. So the width of the classic size Happy Planner is 7 inches wide. So I changed that to 7. You saw this kind of shrink up over here as I pushed this arrow right here. And then I'm going to do the same with the height. So I'm going to bring that down to about 9.25. I wonder if I can type. Yep, I can type that in. So I have just clicked inside that box. I'm going to hit the backspace, 9.25. And there we go. So now you can see this is the page, but this is the paper. Does that make sense? The page size is 7 by 9.25. Actually, it says 9.2. I think it'll still work pretty much the same. And then the paper size is 8.5 by 11. Make sense? Okay, so then I hit OK. That stays the same. Now, if you don't trust this process right here, you can go ahead and you can go to print just to look at it. And you can see these registration marks here. Those show you that the paper is 8.5 by 11, but when your the registration marks mark the page, so it's essentially like right inside of this imaginary box you can see here, and that's my 9.25 by 7-inch page, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go back to where I was before. But that's just to check it out. By the way, if it doesn't show the crop mark or those crop marks, what you can do if yours doesn't automatically show these registration marks here is you can go here where you're choosing your printer. You've got it chosen, and then you can go to advanced output settings. And this is where you can click to show those crop marks. So if you're coming here and you're not seeing those, click on that. It's just a toggle to turn them on and off. Mine are already on. But if you're not seeing them, you need to toggle that to the on spot, and then you'll be able to see those registration marks. All right, now I'll go back here. So now from here, it's just a matter of creating the page to look the way I want it to look. And for me, I'm going to do that with a lot of boxes. I usually use text boxes, but you can use regular boxes. So you can go up here to insert, and you could go either to shapes and just do boxes, or you could go to draw text box and do boxes. Honestly, it's kind of the same thing. It's just this one you can write in, and this one you cannot without sticking another text box inside of it. It's really same difference as that. It's the same difference. So I'm going to take my box. I'm going to draw a text box, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my box width 1.5 inches. So I'm going to double click on that. When I double click on that, it takes me to the shape format menu. And so I'm going to make my width 1.5 or 1.5. That's the same width as the Happy Planner boxes. So that matches. Now I chose to make my boxes slightly taller. You can make them whatever height you want. So I made them slightly taller. I don't remember exactly what I made them at this point, but let's pretend that's what I made them, okay? So let's shrink that up and make it an exact amount. I'll click in that box and just hit 3. I don't remember if that's what I did, but let's pretend for a bit. Okay? And then you just make as many as you want. So you can click on this. You can actually just do a Control C here for copy, but since I'm doing this on the screen, I'll show you. I'll hit copy and then I'll hit paste. It'll make me a second one that I can now put right here. If I want it to butt right up against it, oh, that didn't actually work, did it? Now, what did I do wrong here? Let's see here. Oh, because I haven't. I know what it is, my shape format. Okay, I need to make an outline. So I'm going to make the outline black. Okay, so that's the problem, is you couldn't see them because I hadn't given them an outline. All right, now that they both have an outline, this is better. Did you see what I did here? I just went to shape format and then I went to shape outline. You can make it whatever color you want. You can make it whatever weight you want. You could even make it dashed, things like that, whatever you desire. Now, Happy Planner, typically the boxes butt up right against each other. If you're doing Erin Condren style, there's a little space in there. I don't know the size of the space because I don't have an Erin Condren, but I know there is a space. So again, you can do it that way if you want. I'm going to go back up here to home. I'm going to copy it again. I'm going to paste it again, and I'm going to put that right there. Now I can take my arrow keys if I can't adjust that. I'm going to use my arrow keys. You can't see that, but I am on my keyboard now. And I'm going to scoot that up just so it's lined up perfectly. Sometimes that's hard to do with the mouse. So now that's my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so now I'm going to take these. I'm going to copy all of those. I'm going to then, so this one, see, I went into habit form where I right click. It's another way to copy and paste. And I'm going to put that down here. And now I need one more box for Sunday. So again, a copy, a paste, a move, and I've got that. Now, let's say I want these to even be taller. I could do that. I can choose them all and I could zhuzh them down here. And if I don't know what size that is, I'm going to double click and it shows me now it's 3.3. So I want it to be kind of a happy number. So I'm going to type in 3.5 and enter. Maybe I like that better. So I'll do that to this as well. Highlight that, type it in on my keyboard, 3.5. And now I've got that. Now I want this to come down. So I'm going to just pull that down here. And now I've got my boxes. Now I'm going to scooch this over so it's lined up with that blue line. It just makes me happy because then it's lined up down there. You can change this however you want. I did this to sort of be like Happy Planner stuff, but you can do it however you want to. It really doesn't make a difference. Now, I did want to add dates. So I again went to Insert. I went to Draw Text Box, and I put a long text box right here. You could even put individual text boxes. Let's say you wanted to do that. So you put an individual text box right here, and it kind of, see that pink line? It shows me I'm centered on this box. I sort of love that. And so let's say this is the week of, let's do this. Okay, you can see my date here. I'm recording this on March 16th, so let's pretend I'm making this for next week. So Monday is the 20th. So I'm going to go into that box. I'm going to hit 20. I don't like that size. I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to make it bigger. I don't know how big I want it to be. Maybe I like it like that. Maybe I like it even bigger. So, it's just kind of here at this point, it's just playing around with it. Now, I always like to center my stuff. It's just a thing with me. And then you can choose your font, make it look however you want. You could have funky, cool fonts. You could have boring fonts. You could have it however you want. My favorite fonts these days, I love Century Gothic. I love it. It's so simple. It's just pretty and classy. I love that font. So that's probably what I would do. Personally, Go back to home again. I like it larger. So I'm going to go up to 36. Now you can see, you can't see all that. So I'm going to take this little corner thing, make my box bigger, slide it around. Again, it shows me my pink line. And there's the 20th. So now I'll take this, copy it, paste it, carry this over till I get my new pink line. And if you see there's that horizontal pink line too, that shows me that it's lined up with the box next to it. Again, just a nice little function. Don't have to have it, but it's nice. Hit paste again. I'll get my pink lines so that it's lined up with the box next to it and it's centered with the box below it. Highlight that, make it the 22nd. Do you see what I'm doing? So that's how I do that. Next, I would like to add the month. So I will draw a text box. I will put that up here and I will type March. All right, now I can't see all of that, so I will make my text box larger. I will highlight this and make my text larger. Let's see, that's a little large for me. Let's go with 22. Again, I like to center things. I don't know why, it just makes me happier. And again, I'm going to do that in my favorite font. Where did it go? I lost it. Where did my favorite font go? I lost it. Oh, there it is, Century Gothic. Okay. I could bold it if I wanted to. I could just leave it plain. I like it plain myself. And again, I would add those dates down here as well. Pretty simple at that point. Now, as for the facing page, I'm going to go down into here where it says pages. I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose insert blank page. I want to be able to see it the way it's going to look in my planner. So I'm going to come up here to view and I am going to go, let's see here. I thought there was a way I could get the 2-page view. I know there's a way to get the oh, here it is, 2-page spread. Nope. Thought I could see that. Why am I not seeing my 2-page spread? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, that part I cannot remember right this minute. All right, but that's okay. So I won't do that. But let's do this. Let's grab this box right here and let's copy it. And let's go down to this page and let's paste it on here. But the problem is, not the problem, but I guess the situation here is I want it to be longer. So I'm just going to stretch it. And I'm going to make it the length of the whole page. Now, I made 3 of these, which means, let's say I copy this and paste it, and I do another. And again, you could zhuzh this with the arrow keys if it's a little hard to get it just right. Oh, see, I didn't get it just right. That's why I like the arrow keys. And then I'll paste another. Now, if I do 3 of them, there's wasted space, right? So if I'm going to do this the exact same width as my planner, like my calendar side, my activities and appointments side, I'm probably going to want to put 4 of these. So I would put a 4th one here. Personally, oh look, I think I accidentally did a 3rd. What is that? I don't know what that is. Yeah, sometimes things like show up as a ghost and they weren't really there. That was not really there. I don't want 4 columns, so I made them all a bit wider. So I just grabbed all of them. That didn't work. Nope, that's not right. Anyway, what I don't, let me back up. Can I do them all 3 at once? I'm learning alongside of you right now. So the width is 1.5. So let's pretend I highlight that and I make the width 2. Will that change all 3 of them? It will, but now they're overlapped, right? So now I pull that guy and I pull that guy. And I'm going to zhuzh them a little so that, the lines don't overlap like that. And with some zhuzhing, I can get these all the same. And that's how I made my particular to-do list page. You could do it differently. Again, you could have 4 columns. You could have 2 columns. You could have no columns and just have a blank page. You could make it lined paper. So you could just keep notes over here. You could do it however you want. That's the glory of making your own pages, right? Make it how you want. Um, I could go ahead and label these if I want with a text box. So I could go up in here, insert, draw textbook. For me, I make this one my to do at home. So I could do to do and then at home. You can't see that right now because it's there. And then I could again center it. I can make it larger. I could make it my favorite font that I keep losing. I would also probably go up here to no, I can't do that. Okay. So I was going to try to make, it like the spacing different, but I don't remember exactly how to do that. And it's not that important to me. So I could go ahead and label it like that. However, and I could label each one. So this one for me is to do at work, and this one is errands. Again, you can make them however you want. I, being a planner, like to play with stickers, so I am choosing not to label it here. You could, but I'm not. So I'm going to hit delete with my little delete key on my keyboard, and that goes away. You could make these gratitude. You can make these habit trackers. You can make this meal. You can keep it blank so you can change it up every week. You can do it however you want to. Now, next, I go to print. And I'm going to check to make sure my registration marks are there, which they absolutely are, thank goodness. Crop marks, registration marks, whatever you're going to call them. And what this also does is when I go, see this print one-sided? I'm going to say print on both sides. Now, not all printers will let you print on both sides. My printer does. If yours doesn't, you will print it once and then you will refeed it through your printer, either face down or face up, whichever way it needs to be, and print the back. The registration marks will still make this work though. So what the registration marks do is, this is now centered for my page so that when I cut along these marks, this will be centered on both pages of both the front and back of my page. Does that make sense? So that it is, I mean, that's like part of the biggest problem. When I've tried doing this before, I've printed these out at home and then like tried to take them to a copy store and print them without the registration marks. And I couldn't get them exactly where I wanted them. Now, the other thing right now, the way I have this now is this is going to print kind of backwards. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to insert a duplicate page. Oh, look, now it does my 2-page spread, doesn't it? Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Let's see, undo that. All right, I'm going to insert a new blank page. Oof, why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that all of a sudden. It never does that. I bet it's because I have that clicked. Let's unclick that to single page. Okay. So let's now insert a duplicate page. And I'm going to bring this up here. And you see how that green line showed right there? That shows that this is going to be above this. So here's what this does. I could make this blank. In fact, I probably would at this point. So I'm on this page. I know it because it's highlighted green. I'm going to get rid of all this. Highlight it, hit the delete button. It's gone. So now the front of page 1 is blank. The back of page 1 has my calendar. The front of page 2 has my to-do list. And now insert a blank page. I right clicked and that is blank because when it, how do I say this? When it prints, it's not going to print like this. This is, well, I mean, I guess it is because this is what you will see when you open your planner. You're looking at this on the left side of your spread and this on the right. And so that is why you have to have your first page blank and your last page blank. Now, if you were doing a whole month of these, you would have another one of these right here, and then another one of these next. But since I'm just doing the one, that's all I need to show you right now. And yeah, I think that's all I need for the screen recording part of this. And now we're going to go back over to my desk and I'll show you the rest. Okay, next step. Take this off screen. And here's what I just printed. So here's the first page you saw on that. Remember, over to the left, there were the pages, right? So this was that first page that was blank. Still has the registration marks. Second page, nope, I've got these upside down. Let's try again. This was the first page. This is the second page here with the activities and appointments. Third page, which is the to-do list, and the fourth page, which is of course blank, and again with registration marks. So next, you need to cut on the registration marks. Now, one little thing I have found. I like to use this little cutter here. Let me try to zoom out so you can see better. No, it's just my belly. You don't want to see that? So I like to use this cutter. Mine's getting a little old, so my blade comes out every once in a while. But what I like to do is I like to kind of like lay my, so the cutter has like a line on it so I can tell exactly where the blade is going to cut. And I just kind of lay that on top of there and punch it through and cut. Now that one cut a little bit crooked. If you can see down here at the bottom, some of that mark didn't get on. So I'm just going to come back this way and correct that. And I got that little sliver off. And so now it should be relatively straight. Now let me show you the mistake that I made the first time I did this, that I now can remedy, but at the first time I did it. So now I come to this registration mark here, and I'm going to cut across. And then I'm going to come to this registration mark. You might even be able to see into the future right now and see what's about to happen, right? Maybe you cannot. I did not my first time. So I'm now going to cut here, and look what I did. I cut that last registration mark off. So here is the trick that I learned, and I'll do this on this other side. What I do now is I take two of the edges. I'm going to choose the short edges for now, and I cut on the registration mark, but only part way across the page. You see what I did there? And so now I can now come on the long edge, grab that registration mark again, cut. See what I did? And then I can do that again here. And I've got everything. Does that make sense? Like I've got all my lines. So I can come and do this one again now. And I can just get right inside that little gap. Finish that. And so now what I do is before I cut this off, see this one has that cut. Before I cut it off though, I'm gonna line everything up on my cutter and cut that. So this is still here. It doesn't matter if it is or not, it just is. But the point is I kind of saved that registration mark so that I wouldn't lose that measurement. So that has been my little personal tip there. And so now I've got that done. Now this one, if I had forgotten to do that, my cutter has this little arm, and remember we measured it, and the page is 9 1/4, so I can come out here to 9 1/4, line my paper up on that, and I can do that. So if you do cut off the registration marks, if you've got that little ruler that comes out there, it can still easily be remedied. And so now, this is all trash or scrap or whatever you're gonna call it. And so now I'm gonna take these, I'm going to face them toward each other, and now I'm gonna punch them. So I have purchased one of the Happy Planner punches. The only one I could get was bright pink. It's not my aesthetic, but it was the one that was available at the time, so it's what I got. The white ones are much prettier, a little more expensive I guess they know it's a better aesthetic, but, and it has these guides on it. These 2 lines here are for the classic. These are for the full size, and I guess they don't have guides for the, if you have the smaller ones, but I thought it did, but I don't use the smaller ones, so it doesn't matter. So I take this, and by the way, you don't have to have the Happy Planner punch. Levenger has a punch that works. This just punches down, by the way. There are other brands that have punches. I like the Happy Planner one because the mushroom holes are a little deeper. If I use the Levenger one, that vertical part of the mushroom hole isn't as deep, and so I don't like it as much. It is a stronger punch, though, I have to say. And this now goes in the planner. The only other thing that I haven't mentioned at this point is paper. I did this one on 20 pound. You can see everything through this. And if I use, like I like to use my clean color dots for my to-do lists and such. And on 20 pound, completely bleeds through, completely. Even regular pen, sometimes. Let's see, pen. For some reason, that's my go-to thing when I get a pen out. Even that shadows through a bit. So I don't use 20 pound paper when I do this. I use, and I'm not married to this brand by any mean, but I use 32 pound. 60 pound is like cardstock. So you can imagine 20 pound is regular copy paper, 60 is cardstock, 32 is what I like to use for my planner pages, just so it doesn't bleed through. And it feels a lot more comparable to what the Happy Planner actually uses as well. Yeah, I think that's really all I had left to say about that. So I just take these now and I would just stick them in the planner and have, you know, now I'm ready to go. I can take my stickers, I can take markers, I can take pens, I can do whatever I want. And I've got my own planner spread. If you don't like the thickness of these lines, you can make that thinner, because I don't personally like this thickness. It's very bold compared to this, so I would have changed that if I took more time at this. You can add something here, you know, add a top 3 here or meals here or something. I like to leave that open for decoration, but do whatever you want. You could add Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with more text boxes. Like, the sky's the limit now. Like, you can do whatever you want. Will I still buy Happy Planner products? When I can, yeah, but I'll be honest, they're becoming harder to find. Like, in my town, Michael's doesn't have anything anymore. And I went to Joann's yesterday and they had almost nothing. Now, maybe they were clearing out for new releases, or maybe they're clearing out in the way Michael's did. I don't know. Time will tell. But I do know that I can keep planning even if something happens to Happy Planner stuff. And I can keep decorative planning, which is what I want to do. So if you have any questions or I didn't explain something well enough, please drop me a note down below. I'll do my best to answer all of them that I can. And I guess one more plea is, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you were inspired at all or just want to be kind, give me a subscribe. And yeah, have fun. This is kind of like next step decorating, right? You're not just decorating with stickers and markers now. You're choosing your layout. Make it look how you want. And if you do something cool, send it to me on Instagram, like in a message or whatever, because I want to see, like, if you make your own and you do something different. Like, I'm curious now. So play with it and see what you've got and can do. And please share. I want to see, I want to see, I want to see. Anyway, have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy planning and happy creating. Bye-bye.